Shit, them boys is having the time of their lives.
Welcome back to Banging the Can, the Houston sports show that does not apologize for championship rings and tings, with new episodes dropping twice weekly, presented by Bolen Media. I am Ross Bolen, and I guess this is just the way we're living now, Texans fans. We need to accept this and go into every game knowing the defense will be absolutely dominant, unbelievably impressive, and imposing defense. And the offense will adamantly refuse to do anything more than is absolutely necessary to keep the opposition in striking distance at all times, so we are constantly stressed as hell. That's our brand of football. That's football time in Houston. All 4 of the wins in this streak have been one-score games, with the last 3 coming by 4 points or less. 4 consecutive wins, all of them nail-biters. Someday, I would really like to be able to enjoy a fourth quarter of a football game we win without losing hair or experiencing heart palpitations, but it does not appear that will happen this year. Maybe next season. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you know every time we drop a new episode. Throw us a like on this video and leave a comment in the comments section when one occurs to you over the course of today's show. But we're winning. We're winning. That's the important part. Another dub, 4 in a row, and now the Texans are just 1 game back of the frauds and fakers currently warming their rightful throne atop the division, the AFC South. Both the Colts and the Jags are now 8-4. The Texans are 7-5 and closing fast, coming for that ass. Objects in mirror are going to cornhole your season, Colts and Jags fans. Truly incredible stuff from the Texans, who are looking to become the first team ever with 2 seasons in which they started 0-3 and still made the playoffs. And remember, this is the highest scoring offense in the NFL that the Texans defense just put clamps on. Daniel Jones, fibula, tibula, schmibula, I don't particularly care. The Colts were averaging over 30 points per game prior to the Texans allowing them only 16. Indy has a top 5 offense by pretty much every metric, and yet they looked incredibly mediocre, if not below average, against Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter, Azeez Al-Shaair, Kalen Bullock, Kamari Lassiter, and the rest of the Swarm Squad. I don't love Swarm Squad, if I'm being honest. Still workshopping a nickname for this defense. Regardless, after sacking Josh Allen 8 times in their home win over Buffalo, the Texans only needed to sack Daniel Jones once to get this win on the road in Indianapolis. Credit to DeMeco Ryans and Matt Burke, who knew that to beat the Colts, you simply have to keep Jonathan Taylor from beating you. Stop the Colts from running the football and force Daniel Jones to beat you with his arm and tibula, fibula, schmibula. Not enough can be said about Derek Stingley Jr., because literally nothing is ever said about him on the broadcast. There was a point in the third quarter of this game where I went, wait a minute, is Derek Stingley Jr. even playing today? I haven't heard his name once. I'm not even sure he's been shown on the TV. Did he get hurt? Nope. Just didn't allow a single reception on 28 coverage snaps, making it 5 games this season in which he has allowed less than 10 yards in coverage, and further bolstering his argument as Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Derek's stat line for this Colts game is absurd. He literally did not have to do anything other than lock down his man in coverage because Daniel Jones avoided him at all costs. Will Anderson Jr. also shined once again. Not racking up sacks this game, but absolutely demoralizing whatever poor bastard of an O-lineman was cursed with the duty of blocking him. There was one play, they lined Will Anderson Jr. up like a middle linebacker, let him bull rush the Colts center, and he pushed the center back so far into the pocket that Daniel Jones had to get rid of the football or take a sack from his own center running him over. He's just a freak, man. Him and Danielle Hunter both just freaks on the edges of the D-line, making every offensive lineman in the NFL shake in their boots. Azeez Al-Shaair was fantastic out there again. I wish he'd stop body slamming people. No idea why Azeez can't seem to help himself. It's like he has a quota to do something controversial once every 2 games or risk being seen as a good, clean player. But the results speak for themselves. Al-Shaair is the clear-cut leader of this defense in terms of tone and vibe setting. He leads the team in tackles with 79. Closest to him is Kamari Lassiter with 66. He's incredibly lucky that he didn't get flagged, obviously, for that body slam that he committed there. But, shit happens. It was a suplex. But God, He's a lot of fun to watch. Again, credit to Matt Burke, credit to D'Amico Ryans. What they do with this defense week in and week out continues to be incredibly impressive. They are disciplined. The strategy is cohesive. Everyone buys in. Everyone is on the same page. This defense is special. It remains the best defense in all of the NFL, and it remains the number one reason nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to see the Texans make the playoffs, because if they do, nobody wants to face this defense. So imagine with me now, just imagine. Let's go to imagination land. If this offense can find a way to be just a little bit better at converting on third down or in the red zone, pick one. We don't need them to be a top 10 offense. We just need Nick Caley and CJ Stroud to find a way to be a little more effective on third down and in the red zone, and this team will be a legitimate Super Bowl contender this season. This season. Not next season, not the one after that. This season, if they can just convert more red zone trips into touchdowns and or convert more third downs into first downs, this team will suddenly become an unstoppable force of nature. The Texans are 22nd in points scored per game. There are only 32 teams in the league, and you don't want to hear me read the 10 teams behind us. Trust me. The Texans rank 27th out of 32 in third down efficiency. And again, I want to reiterate something. I have said several times this season already, this is not a talent issue on offense for the Texans. That's the way I see it anyway. I mean, it might be a talent issue at running back, sort of, I guess, but Woody Marks is the fucking man. He fucking rules. You just have to scheme for him appropriately. You can't run the Joe Mixon plays for Woody Marks because Woody Marks is a completely different size and style of back. I wish somebody would simply explain that to Nick Caley. He's actually starting to finally figure it out. But Woody Marks is awesome. Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins. We've seen what Dalton Schultz is capable of when he's used correctly. Jalen Noel, Xavier Hutchinson, Christian Kirk, I guess. They have the talent in the receiving room. The offensive line has been improving game over game over game for a month now. We all owe our offensive line coach, whose name is currently slipping my mind, an apology because we all called for his head after the first few games of the season. The offensive line has gotten their shit together. So if the Texans' offense is to improve to a level that gives this team a playoff berth and a chance to make a real run, the impetus lies on the shoulders of the offensive coordinator, Nick Caley, who still has stretches like the final possession of the first half where I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Or in the fourth quarter, getting stuffed on fourth down when we should have kicked a field goal to go up 7, or running the fucking Wildcat with Nick Chubb. What are we doing? And there have admittedly been stretches where Nick Caley has looked like he's finding his footing. But there are too many inexplicable what the fuck moments still. It falls on Nick Caley and it falls on CJ Stroud if this team wants to go to the next level. And just like Nick Caley, CJ Stroud has stretches of brilliance where you're like, holy shit, there it is. There it is. That's the stuff we're looking for. There's a top 10 QB who can lead us to the promised land. And then he has stretches like when he throws an interception in our own territory on the first play of the possession after the defense held strong and forced a turnover on downs. You can't have that shit. You can't have the boneheaded mental mistakes if you want to be a championship football team. You can't have a single possession where you get multiple illegal formation penalties because nobody knows who is covering up at the line of scrimmage. How does that even happen? What, did they add a bunch of new plays at the last minute or something? 3 times we got illegal formation in the first quarter. It's week 13 of the season. I almost blew a gasket. We had an illegal formation on a kickoff shortly thereafter, and I had to close my eyes and meditate on the things that make me happy in life, like my wife's breasts and my children's laughter, to keep me from going berserk. This team is so weird, man. It's such a weird team. They're like a couple things clicking away from being arguably a top 3 team in the league and Super Bowl contender, and yet every game they do at least one thing that makes me feel like we don't deserve to be in the playoffs at all. They're 7-5 right now, but should have 9 wins. No doubt 2 of their losses should be wins. Pick one of the first 3 games. One of those should have been a win, and the Broncos game is a win if Stroud doesn't get concussed. I don't think anybody's arguing against that. So they should have 9 wins. Who are you scared of? Who are you scared of? Are you scared of the Patriots with Drake May? Really? Are you scared of the Denver Broncos with Bo Nix? Are you scared of the Chargers with Justin Herbert, who I'm pretty sure is hurt now? The Jags, the Colts? No, man. I believe we can beat any one of those teams on any given Sunday. The AFC is completely wide open, up for grabs, there for the taking. Look at the NFC leaders. Tampa Bay does not scare me. We should have won that game, could have won that game. The Rams are a good team, but that's another game. We were right there, and it was our offensive coordinator's first game ever, first game of the season that we lost to the Rams. Philly has looked very beatable in stretches. Nobody knows what to make of the Bears yet, but again, you scared of the Bears? Really? The Seahawks might be the best and most complete team we've played. So I'm just saying, the league is wide open right now. If they can correct just a couple of these perpetual issues, we're right there. Somehow, in a season that just like 6-7 weeks ago felt like it might be lost to time, we are now a step or two away from being real contenders. Have to make a note about the referees in Texans Colts. Holy shit. I think that was the worst officiated game in terms of big botched plays that we have seen this season as Texans fans. And it went both ways. But if you're a Colts fan and you ended up on the wrong side of this one, you got the loss, you got to admit as a Texans fan, you would be fuming if you were a Colts fan this Monday. This sweet victory Monday that we are experiencing is not so sweet for Colts fans. You had the Al-Shaair body slam that somehow went uncalled. But like I said, it went both ways. That Bullock pass interference call, bro, the pass is 10 fucking yards out of bounds. It's not a catchable football. Are we not doing that anymore? The passes that aren't catchable, we're not referring to them as such and waving off the flag. Didn't understand that. There were several false starts from the Colts that did not get flagged. There was the extra point miss from Fairbairn that was counted as a make that on the broadcast they just kind of glazed over, and then they couldn't find an angle that showed from directly behind the post, so you couldn't even tell. But it definitely looked like that extra point should not have counted. The referees in this game were not great. It was a bit of a mess, and they got to be better. They got to be better. So if you're a Colts fan who's here, hate watching this right now, I do feel for you a little bit. And I've never really had anything against you guys. I hate Jags fans. I hate Titans fans. There are a lot of teams around the league and their fan bases that I despise or generally want nothing to do with. I've never had a problem with Colts fans at all. Our producer is a Colts fan. He's a great guy. So I feel for Colts fans. It's always hard to lose when you feel like the referees were one of the main reasons why things didn't go your way at the end of the day on the scoreboard. Texans fans have been there fucking too many times to count, brother. I promise you, we know how it feels. And frankly, this is a couple weeks in a row where I felt like things just broke the right direction for us as Texans fans, and we will fucking take it. In closing, I'll say a few more things about CJ Stroud's performance after missing 3 games with a concussion. Look, again, like I said earlier, CJ has flashes where I'm like, that's one of the best throws I've ever seen. He has flashes of absolute brilliance, of tier 1 QB play, tier 1 NFL QB play. And then he has stretches every game this season that he has started where I'm like, what the hell are you doing? What's with the happy feet in the pocket? He cannot get comfortable to save his life. I was hopeful that after watching Davis Mills for 3 games, that CJ would go, oh, okay, so I just need to stand there confidently and keep my feet neat, and I'll be fine. But that wasn't really the case. He still had one of those classic CJ Stroud sacks where he's retreating out of the pocket and he runs into a 7-yard loss, basically. He runs into, if he stayed where he was, the blocker would have been able to push the defensive lineman who was rushing around CJ. But instead, CJ keeps going backwards, so his lineman pushes the rushing defensive lineman directly into CJ. And it's just these little things like that are still going on where I'm like, oh my God. And again, it's just, as is with CJ Stroud, is how I feel about the whole team. A couple things clicking away from greatness. And he had a really good performance. Let's be very clear about that. CJ Stroud was very good in this game. He had to shake off a lot of rust in the first half. He still had several throws where I was like, that's it. That's the thing. He's doing the thing. But there was still several moments where I was like, oy vey, Why, bro? Why? Why? For the love of God. Now, a win is a win, and you take all the positive out of it you can, and we're going to maintain positivity here today. But I'm just saying, it was still some of the things I've seen all season with CJ that made me kind of scratch my head. Like, what the fuck is making him think that's a good idea? What is going on there? And it's just strange to see, like, the offense played so clean with Davis Mills at the helm. And then all of a sudden we have all these penalties when CJ's back. And I'm not saying that's CJ's fault at all. I think more than likely it's just bad luck that's the way things have unfolded here over the past several weeks, where CJ gets back finally. We're all stoked to see what he'll do. And then the offense is kind of a bumbling, fumbling, fucking mess again for the most part. It's like half and half. There were drives where I was like, yes, fucking amazing drive. We get down to the 5 or whatever inside the red zone, and then the same shit happens. It all falls apart. And you're like, okay, well, never mind. There were drives where I was like, that was some of the worst play calling I've ever seen. There were drives where I was extremely frustrated by the way CJ handled himself. Rarely was it about any throw that he made. He's got the arm talent, the accuracy, and the ball speed. It's not that. It's the decision making. It's the pocket presence. It's the poise, as I've been yelling week after week after week with Davis Mills out there. He's so much more poised than CJ seemingly a lot of the time. And it's kind of confusing, especially because you would think playing with a defense that's this formidable would give you the confidence you need to know, like, I can afford a mistake or two. And that's another element of CJ's game that's just a little weird to me. He seems to struggle to find receivers downfield. And I think that's in large part because he's scared to throw into tight windows. Fuck it, man. Let it rip. Throw the football. Get it to Nico downfield. Get it to Higgins downfield. Get it to Hutchinson downfield. Get it to Noel downfield. You got these athletic, big-ass receivers for the most part. Throw the fucking ball and give them a chance. Give them a chance. It doesn't have to be a perfect pocket or a perfect window downfield or a perfect route. Just give your receivers a chance to make plays. Davis Mills was way more willing to do that than CJ. And I repeat, for CJ Stroud stands, your guy should be the starter. CJ should be the starter. He's my guy too. I like CJ Stroud. What I'm trying to do here is point to things for the other fans to notice that CJ could improve upon, that he's just a couple few steps away or improvements away from being a top 10 quarterback in this league like we all hoped he would be after we saw his rookie season. When at one point in his rookie season, he was an MVP candidate, and he has not reached those heights since, in large part, in my opinion, due to mental errors. There's a mental block. You got to throw downfield. Davis Mills was just chunking the ball at Nico Collins in his general vicinity, typically throwing high, so that the only person who had a chance to get it was Nico Collins. CJ's just not doing that nearly as often with any of these receivers. I don't know if it's a trust thing or he's just rattled from the way that the pocket felt for so many games last season and at the beginning of this season. But that's one of the big changes that we need to see headed toward the postseason here, if we're lucky enough to get in, or if they earn it, rather. I should stop saying lucky again. If we get into the postseason, they will have fully earned it after starting 0-3 and having a first-place schedule to go up against. But if they want to make the postseason and make a run, these are the improvements we need to see on offense. And one of them is going to need to be balls. Balls. And I don't mean in play calling balls, because every time Nick Caley does something ballsy as a play caller, like running the fucking... Wildcat? The Wildcat with Chubb. I'm like, brother, you're just outthinking this so hard. Balls, like, throw the fucking ball. Throw the ball. Throw the ball at Nico. Throw him the football. He doesn't have to be open. How many amazing catches in the history of the NFL were made when the receiver was blanketed? Most of them. Every all-time great catch is a catch that should not have fucking happened by all rules of science and physics. That's what made the catches so great. You've got to be willing to give your receivers a chance to do something great. And if CJ can get that down and start spreading the ball around a little more offensively with his arm, this offense is going to open up like nothing you've ever seen before. Because right now they know they can pretty much sit on the run. We're not a big play offensive team. We haven't had that many this season, right? So defenses are able to just stack the box, sit on the run. It doesn't happen that often, but for if they stop the run, they know we're not going to do a whole hell of a lot through the air, is my point, okay? If CJ can get the air attack, the air raid, just a little bit dialed up, then we're going to be cooking a stew. Baby, we'll have a stew going.
Outstanding job offense.
So, again, outstanding job offense. You scored enough points to win this game, and that's always going to be the name of the game with the Texans. I know it's stupid to say as a sentence because it's like, yeah, whoever scores the most points wins, but this team just needs to get 20, 21 points a game, man. There aren't many teams that are going to score more than 20 on us. There aren't. So if you can get 20, 21 points, 24 points, 27 points, you're going to give yourself a chance to win every single game you're in because of this defense. And if CJ can just get that cemented in his brain so that he feels a little bit more confidence when he's out there working with the offense, we're going to be in a great spot headed to the postseason. Because, again, so many of these wins we've had that have been one-score games shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have been. They should have been 2-score, 3-score games, but we get too fucking complacent offensively, too conservative, too scared in terms of play calling. And those are the things that need to change moving forward. All in all, it's a great win. It's a great victory Monday. You love to see it. It was another one of those Sundays where we had a big Texans win and then a big Rockets win. Hard to ask for more than that. So I'm happy. I hope you're happy. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. That will do it for today's show. Remember, we have new episodes dropping every week, twice on youtube.com/@bangingthecan. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, please now. Subscribe, like, turn on notifications. Leave me a comment. Give me your thoughts on this Texans-Colts game. Follow us on social media, @BangingTheCan on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Threads, @BangingTheCan, where you'll see clips of our show. And on Twitter, I usually live tweet as I am watching either Rockets or Texans games. Please share the most unapologetic Houston sports show in existence with your friends and family. The only way this show grows is if you tell your people. And it's the holiday season. You're going to be around a lot of your people. Tell your friends, your family, your aunts, your uncles, your moms, your dads, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins. Tell them all about Banging the Can. I'm Ross Bolen. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram @WRBolen, WRBOLEN. And I will be back this Friday to catch up on Rockets talk. They have been phenomenal. It has been a lot of fun to watch. Again, I say, if you are strictly a Texans fan who doesn't focus much on the Rockets until playoff time, start throwing on Rockets games. Start watching them. They're tremendous. Until next time, H-Town, stay down.